Arab millionaire's daughter brings black boy home. What he sees in her necklace freezes him. The golden crescent moon necklace swayed gently as 18-year-old Damon Williams leaned forward to greet his girlfriend's parents. But it was when Heikki Al-Hassan saw the small engraving on the back of the pendant that his world came to a complete standstill. "Daddy." 19-year-old Aliyah Al-Hassan touched her father's arm. "Are you okay? You've gone completely pale." The 52-year-old oil tycoon remained motionless, staring at the necklace hanging around the neck of the young black man his daughter had brought to dinner at their Beverly Hills mansion. His hands began to tremble imperceptibly. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Al-Hassan," Damon said politely, extending his hand. "Aliyah speaks highly of you." Hakeem didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the golden symbol he recognized from a life he thought he had buried forever. Hakeem Fatima Al-Hassan, 45, frowned from across the mahogany table. "What happened to you?" Finally, Heikki blinked and forced a tense smile. "Forgive me. It's just your necklace is very interesting." "Young man, where did you get it?" Damon unconsciously touched the pendant. "Oh, it's kind of weird, actually. It was left with me when I was a baby. I grew up in St. Joseph's orphanage, and the nuns said it was the only thing my mother left behind." The wine glass slipped from Heikki's hands, shattering against the Italian marble floor. The sound echoed through the dining room like a gunshot. "Dad," exclaimed Aliyah, jumping out of her chair. "What's going on?" Fatima also stood up alarmed. "Hakeem, you're scaring everyone." But the Arab billionaire stood frozen in place as if he had seen a ghost. Because in a way, that necklace was unique. A handmade piece he had commissioned 18 years ago for someone he loved, and had lost forever. When were you born?" Heikki asked, his voice. Damon hesitated, realizing the strangeness of the question. "March 15, 2006. "Why?" Aliyah looked confused between her father and her boyfriend. "Dad, why are you asking these questions? You're scaring me." Heikki slowly approached Damon, studying every detail of the young man's face, as if looking for something specific. The resemblance was there in the dark eyes, the jawline, the way he tilted his head when he was thinking. "That necklace," Heikki murmured. "Is there anything engraved on the back?" Damon turned the pendant over. "Yes, there is. The initials LH and a date. Why do you want to know?" Hakeem Al-Hassan's world collapsed in seconds. LH Lisa Hamilton, the woman he had loved madly in college. The woman who had died in childbirth 18 years ago, taking with her all the secrets they had sworn to keep. "It can't be," he whispered, slumping heavily into his chair. Fatima rushed to her husband's side. "Heikki, what's going on? Do you know this boy?" What none of them knew was that Damon Williams hadn't shown up at that house by chance. That for months he had been investigating clues about his origins, and that the name Al-Hassan had appeared in documents that no one should have seen, and that the truth that was about to explode would not only destroy a dinner, but the entire structure of a family that had built its fortune on lies. Aliyah took Damon's hand, feeling the tension in the air. "Damon, are you okay? Everyone is acting very strange." Damon looked directly into Heikki's eyes. "Actually, Mr. Al-Hassan, I have some questions for you as well about a woman named Lisa Hamilton, and about what really happened in the spring of 2006. If you're enjoying this story of family secrets and devastating revelations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out how a simple necklace was about to completely rewrite the history of a millionaire family." The name Lisa Hamilton hit like a physical blow. He clung to the table, his knuckles turning white against the dark wood. "How do you know that name?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. Damon smiled. But there was no warmth in that smile. "Because I've spent the last 6 months investigating, ever since I turned 18 and gained access to my adoption records." Aliyah looked between them, confused. "Who is Lisa Hamilton?" "Dad, you're scaring me." Fatima approached cautiously. "Heikki, who is this woman?" But Damon continued before Heikki could answer. "Lisa Hamilton, 22 years old, journalism student at UCLA, died in childbirth on March 15, 2006. He paused dramatically. "The same day I was born." Heikki closed his eyes as if he could make the truth disappear. "You don't understand the situation." "I understand perfectly," Damon interrupted, taking a leather briefcase from the backpack he had left at the entrance. "I understand that you were married to Fatima when you had an affair with my mother. I understand that she was pregnant when you convinced her to leave. And I understand that you offered her money to take care of the problem." The silence in the room was broken only by the sound of Heikki's heavy breathing. "That's not true," Fatima murmured, but her voice lacked conviction. Damon opened the folder and spread documents across the table. Bank statements showing transfers of $50,000 to Lisa Hamilton, printed emails, even recordings of phone calls. Aaliyah picked up one of the papers with trembling hands. "Dad, that's your bank account. That's your signature. How did you get this?" asked Heike, his voice filled with a mixture of terror and admiration. "I'm a computer science student at MIT, Damon replied calmly. "And it turns out your accounting firm isn't as secure as you think. It only took me 2 weeks to hack into your historical financial records." Fatima dropped the papers as if they burned her hands. You violated our privacy. That's illegal. You know what else is illegal?" Damon stood up, his calm beginning to crack. "Abandoning a pregnant woman to die alone, because you were afraid it would ruin your family reputation." Heike finally found his voice. "Lisa chose to have the baby against my advice. I offered her every option. You offered her money to have an abortion." Damon exploded. "And when she refused? You just disappeared. She died alone in a public hospital while you were on your honeymoon in the Maldives." Aaliyah began to cry silently. "That means that you two are half-brothers," Damon confirmed, his voice now cold as ice. "Ironic, don't you think? You brought your own brother home without knowing it." Fatima stood up abruptly. "Get out of my house now, our house," Damon corrected, pulling more documents from his briefcase. "Because technically, as the recognized biological son of Hakim al-Hassan, I have legal rights to part of this property." Heike piled even more. "What do you want?" "Justice," Damon replied simply. "For my mother, for me, and for all the other people you trampled on to build your empire." He showed them his phone where a recording was playing. It was Heike's own voice from 18 years ago. "Lisa, you have to understand. My family would never accept this. My career would be destroyed. Take the money and settle this quietly." "Where did you get this recording?" Heike whispered. "My mother was a journalist," Damon said with a bitter smile. "She recorded everything. And now, thanks to modern technology, I've been able to recover files you thought were lost forever." Aaliyah looked at her father with disgust. "You really did this? You abandoned a pregnant woman." Fatima tried to defend her husband. "You don't understand the pressures we were under at the time, the community, the business." "I understand perfectly," Damon said. "And now this entire community will understand too." He showed them another device, a live streamer connected to multiple social media platforms. "You are being broadcast live to over 50,000 followers. Every word, every confession, every moment of cowardice is being documented in real time." Heike stood up unsteadily. "You can't do this. This will destroy everything." "Exactly," Damon replied. "Just like you destroyed my mother. Just like you destroyed any chance I had of meeting my biological family. Now it's my turn to destroy something." The young man who had entered the house, as a nervous boyfriend, had turned into something much more dangerous. An abandoned son with the tools and determination to expose decades of lies. And the real devastation was yet to come. Heike's phone began to ring incessantly. First one ring, then two, then a cacophony of notifications that wouldn't stop. His live stream had gone viral in a matter of minutes. 43,000 views and counting. Damon announced, checking his device. "The comments are educational," Aaliyah read over his shoulder, her voice breaking. "What a disgusting man. He abandoned his own son. Boycott Al-Hassan Petroleum." Heike tried to turn off the broadcast equipment, but Damon stopped him. "Oh no, we're not done yet. The best part is coming." Fatima grabbed her husband's arm. "Hakim, do something. Our reputation is being destroyed." "What reputation?" Damon laughed bitterly. "Built on lies and blood." At that moment, the house phone rang. Heike answered with trembling hands, putting it on speaker without thinking. "Mr. Al-Hassan, this is Jordan Mitchell from CNN. We are receiving a very disturbing live broadcast involving you and a possible illegitimate son. Would you like to comment?" Before Heike could respond, Damon stepped closer to the phone. "Hello Jordan, this is Damon Williams, the illegitimate son in question. I have a lot to say." "No," Heike shouted. But it was too late. "Mr. Williams," said the reporter, "can you confirm the allegations being made?" Damon smiled coldly. "I can do better than that. I can prove it." He held up an envelope he had kept hidden until now. "DNA test conducted discreetly 3 weeks ago. 99.7% probability of paternity." Aaliyah collapsed into her chair, sobbing. "How did you get my father's DNA? Remember the coffee your father drank when we met at the mall last week? I kept the cup." Damon turned to Heike. "Did you really think I came into Aaliyah's life by chance?" The truth hit everyone like a bolt of lightning. Heike whispered, "You planned all of this. Every single detail. Damon counted them off on his fingers, finding out about Aaliyah at the university, getting close to her, gaining her trust, getting an invitation to dinner, and finally confronting you with irrefutable evidence in front of thousands of people. The phone kept ringing. Other broadcasters, investors, business partners, Heikki's empire was collapsing in real time. But wait, Damon said, there's more. He opened another file on his phone. Remember my mother, Lisa Hamilton? She wasn't just any student. She was investigating a story about corruption in the oil industry, specifically about how certain Arab companies were bribing American politicians. Heikki tried to stand up, but his legs gave way. You have no proof of that. I have her files, everything she found before she died. Names, dates, amounts, offshore bank accounts, 20 years of evidence about how you bought political influence. Fodimus screamed, those are lies, they're documented facts, Damon corrected. And in 3:21 his phone rang, perfect timing, FBI tip line, yes, I'd like to report evidence of international bribery and political corruption. Heikki finally exploded. You're destroying an entire family. Damon turned to him with eyes cold as steel. You destroyed an entire family 18 years ago. You destroyed my mother. You destroyed my childhood. You destroyed any chance I had to grow up knowing who I really am. But Aaliyah is innocent, protested Fatima. And I was innocent when I was born, Damon retorted. But that didn't stop you from condemning me to a life in an orphanage, while you lived in luxury, with blood on your hands. Aaliyah finally found her voice through her tears. Damon, I love you. I didn't know any of this. Damon paused, his mask of coldness wavering for a moment. I know, and I love you too. But you have to understand, this was never about you. It was always about him. Heikki was now slumped in his chair, watching decades of work being destroyed by a son he had chosen to deny. What do you want? He asked, defeated. Money, the company. What will make you stop this? Damon shook his head. You still don't get it, do you? I don't want anything you built with dirty blood. I want the world to know exactly who you are. I want every person you've hurt to see you fall. He showed her the phone one last time. 120,000 views. Trending topic on Twitter. I've already received calls from 3 international media outlets and 2 law firms wanting to sue you. Fatima collapsed on the floor crying. Aaliyah held her face in her hands and Hakim al-Hassan, one of the most powerful men in the oil industry, was discovering that some ghosts from the past of children who grow up to become their worst nightmares. The revenge Damon had meticulously planned for months was unfolding with surgical precision. But the final revelation was yet to come. 6 months later, Damon sat in a federal courtroom watching Hakim al-Hassan being sentenced to 15 years in prison for corruption, money laundering, and international bribery. The man who once controlled billions now wore an orange prison uniform. Your Honor, said the judge, the defendant's crimes represent a systematic betrayal of public trust perpetrated over 2 decades. In the front rows, Aaliyah cried silently. Fatima had divorced and moved to London with a prenuptial agreement that guaranteed her only a fraction of the assets. Al-Hassan Petroleum was dissolved, its assets confiscated to pay compensation to the victims of the corruption schemes. After the sentence, Aaliyah approached Damon in the court hallway. You got what you wanted, she said, her voice broken but without rancor. My father is going to die in prison. Damon gently held her hands. Aaliyah, I never wanted to hurt you. You were the only real thing in this whole process. But you used me, she whispered. Our entire relationship was a lie. It started as part of the plan, he admitted. But it turned into something real. I fell in love with you, even though I knew it would complicate everything. Aaliyah shook her head. How can I trust anything you say now? Because Damon took a small box out of his pocket. Even though I knew it would destroy any chance we had of being together, I went through with the plan. Because some things are more important than our own desires. She looked at the ring inside the box, tears streaming down her face. You were going to propose to me. I was, but I couldn't. Not while I was carrying this burden. Not while your father walked free, after what he did to my mother. 3 months later, the Lisa Hamilton Foundation for Orphans was officially inaugurated. Damon had used the money recovered from Heikki's confiscated assets to create one of the largest support programs for abandoned children in the country. My mother always dreamed of giving a voice to the voiceless, Damon said in his opening speech. Today, through this foundation, she has finally succeeded. In the audience, Aaliyah applauded through her tears. They had tried to rebuild their relationship, but some bridges are permanently burned by the fire of truth. A year later, Damon graduated summa cum from MIT. During the graduation ceremony, he wore his mother's necklace, no longer a symbol of abandonment, but of resilience. For 18 years, I wondered why I was abandoned, he said in his speech as class valedictorian. I discovered that I wasn't abandoned, I was protected. My mother died trying to expose corruption, but her evidence lives on through me. Heikki, watching from prison via live broadcast, finally understood the magnitude of what he had lost. Not just a financial empire, but the chance to know an extraordinary son. Alia married 2 years later to a doctor she met while volunteering. On her wedding day, she sent a letter to Damon. You taught me that true love sometimes means letting go. Thank you for showing me what real courage is. Damon never married. He dedicated his life to the foundation, and to exposing other corruption schemes using his technical skills. He became one of the most respected voices in business ethics and social justice. In every interview, he maintained the same message. Revenge isn't about destroying people for pleasure. It's about ensuring that their actions have consequences proportional to the harm they caused. 10 years later, Heikki was released on parole. Old, sick and alone, he tried to contact Damon through lawyers. He wants to apologize, said the lawyer, and maybe get to know his son better. Damon looked out his office window, watching children playing in the park the foundation had built. Tell him I accept his apology, he replied. But also tell him that a father is someone who raises a child, not someone who begets one, and he lost that opportunity a long time ago. The lawyer hesitated. What about a future relationship? My relationship is with 1,000 children. This foundation has helped with the orphans who now have a quality education. With the memory of a courageous woman who died defending the truth. Damon touched the necklace around his neck. Some mistakes are too big to be forgiven with words. They can only be remedied with actions. And building something better is always more important than destroying those who have hurt us. Today, the Lisa Hamilton Foundation is one of the largest orphan support organizations in the world. And Damon Williams is living proof that the best revenge is not to repay evil with evil. It's to turn your pain into purpose. And use your scars to heal the wounds of others. He tried to deny a son, but ended up creating a legacy that will survive for generations. Damon learned that true justice isn't about destroying those who hurt you. It's about building something so powerful that it renders the evil they try to inflict on you irrelevant. If this story of transformation and redemption touched your heart, subscribe to the channel for more stories that prove that our greatest traumas can become our greatest triumphs, when we choose to use our pain to heal the